Good night, Labour Party family! I come to tell you that St. Thomas is red and ready. And I want to tell you that the North is red and ready. What a beautiful sight to see the bees living in harmony. Your government, my friends, has never been afraid to govern. Our primary duty as a government has been to pass laws for the peace, good order, and government of the land. But laws are not about rules and regulations. They're about people. They're about fairness, justice, and equity. In the communities across St. Thomas and indeed all over Barbados, we have done right by our people. We have passed legislation that has reframed ancient legislation that was passed in the 1800s, humbugging everybody. The Child Justice Act has transformed how children in conflict with the law are dealt with. We prioritize rehabilitation and maintaining the reintegration of those children back into the communities without upsetting the justice system. We reduce repeat offenders and try to stop the stigmatization of children. We brought in a new child protection legislation that strengthened the system to protect those children who are exposed to the most depraved people in our society. Our red record, and I want each and every one of you to leave here tonight with the red record, because we have a proud record of performance in government. Crime is a big problem in our society, but your government was not afraid to lead on crime. One of the first things we did, there were 2 judges in the criminal courts. We have expanded the judiciary, and now there are 8 judges. The backlog has been dealt with over the number of years. We rehabilitated the old courts building at Corey Street, now the Henry Ford and David Simmons Judicial and Legal Services Complex. We are serving you. We've expanded the number of prosecutors in the office of the DPP. We have brought in legislation to deal with plea bargaining. So if you're guilty, no trial, not clogging up the judicial system. It also assists people to help the police in the investigations and come and give evidence in criminal matters. We passed a new Juries Act. The old Juries Act was outdated. Trying to get time off from work to do jury duty was a burden. We brought in trials without juries. We brought a new bail act to stop those persons who are accused of murder or gun offenses from getting bail and coming out and committing a second and third murder. That was the record of the last administration. We made significant amendments to the Police Act to allow for the Defense Force to augment them on special movements when they have to go and deal with certain people in society. We brought in an Interception of Communication Act to stop people from planning crimes to affect you so the police can put that evidence before the court. We have a proud record. When it comes to anti-corruption, you hear Verla Pisa talking, but she does not even know that we passed the Whistleblower Act in 2021. We brought in new procurement legislation enacted to regulate and increase transparency in government and in spending. We digitized the processes of licenses to increase efficiency and transparency and to make sure that we take the stigma of criminality away from people who offend those regulatory regimes. A prevention of corruption bill passed and became law. Witness anonymity legislation passed and became law. We have a government that is committed to modernizing a 19th century criminal justice system. This government met with the criminal bar on 2 occasions, all-day sessions, to make sure that we get our criminal justice system right. We have established an advisory council with stakeholders from all across the sector to improve the administration of justice. We have increased the vote to the police service. We promoted all of those constables who have been working hard day and night and created the rank of senior constables. We have doubled the amount of special constables. So this is not a government that has been sleeping on the job. This is not a government that is afraid to transform the institutions that have served us well in the past, but in a modern society, we need to transform institutions to take Barbados forward in the third and fourth decades of the 21st century. Now, Ralph Thorne criticizes us when we speak about transformation and the education system. He criticizes our plans to deal with the Transport Board. I serve you as the chairman of the Caves of Barbados. Ralph Thorne, before he left us, was the chairman before me. And he presided over the change of the Caves of Barbados at Harson's Cave. All the workers went home under us and nobody in quarrel. Not a strike. Everybody got paid out. And we entered into a new private partnership with Chukka. Private-public partnership with Chukka. And Harson's Cave is one of the most beautiful attractions in Barbados. So don't let Ralph Thorne frighten you. When he was a bee, he had no problem working with us to reform and transform existing institutions, but he will want to frighten you. I'm here, he's talking now about going court to stop the election, a sign of a desperate man. And I want to remind you that in 2017, when citizens of the Caribbean countries living and working in Barbados, the children going to school, paying taxes, the electoral department told them they could not vote, although the representation of the People's Act allowed Commonwealth citizens to vote in Barbados. And we had a policy where only people from England, New Zealand, and Australia were considered as Commonwealth citizens. And we were rejecting our own brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, working and living in Barbados. And Wilfred Abrams and myself and a team of brilliant lawyers, we didn't go to stop the 2018 general election. We went to court to preserve the right of those people who the law says can register to vote so they can vote. We won the case before the Chief Justice in the High Court. The Court of Appeal and the 3 judges of the Court of Appeal were all appointed by the Dems, came up with this very curious ruling. They said that the people had the right to be registered to vote, but they were not allowing them to vote because they never submitted an application form. So we had to go to the Caribbean Court of Justice, and it overturned that decision of the Court of Appeal of Barbados. And the night before the 2018 general election, Sir Elliot Motley, the Prime Minister's father, and myself and Stuart Motley and a whole team of lawyers were in court for 3-4 days up to the night before the election, where the courts of Barbados were saying, let the people register. We didn't go for no injunction. Don't let Mr. Thorne frighten you. Barbados has had elections from 1951, and we have had free and fair elections, and both parties have been thrown out of office by the people of Barbados when the people are ready. But I want to tell you, don't let Trump policies that Mr. Thorne got in his little mind come to frighten you. They are hardworking Barbadians who work every day in the electoral department. They are hardworking Barbadians who volunteer at work at polling stations, as returning officers, as counting agents, people who manage the voters list. They are not thieving no election. But I want to tell you this. If the numbers that I see here tonight suggest anything, there will be no discussion about what happens on February 11th. This red record is the decisive difference. Do not allow Ralph Thorne and the politics of desperation seep into your minds. Bring out your families, bring out your friends, bring out your work colleagues, so that on the night of February 11th, I want to see not only all of the North I want to see all of Barbados in red because we need strong, decisive leadership in a changing world, in a difficult world. We need a leader like Mia Amor Motley who's not afraid to stand up and be counted. Let us do what we have to do. Stay strong because Barbados must win. Barbados must be strong. We are going to win big and we are going to do right by the people of Barbados with your help. So come out and vote for the Barbados Labour Party on February 11th. Good night and thank you. God bless you all.